Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Ground Up Podcast. I am your host, Terry Bargy, and I'm here with...
Roy Mangrum. How's it going?
Yay. Hey, Roy. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm back.
You're back. You're back after a brief hiatus.
A brief hiatus. I did watch the episode. It was very good.
Did you like it?
I listened.
Did we do you justice?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good time. I didn't know... Stuart, I hope Stuart's watching this, but I didn't know I was going to get. So I was like, you want to do this? And he's like, yeah. I was like, I don't... Do you have any experience? No. I was like, great, let's go.
Yeah, you did good. Zero experience, you're hired.
You're hired. And today, we're sitting in here with your other business partner.
My other cohort, partner in crime.
Would you like to introduce him?
Brother from another mother, Jeremy Gossett. We've been in business together for 12 years at this point, which is ridiculous because it feels like a year.
Yeah, time does fly.
We've done a lot in 12 years.
And I can't wait to get into y'all's story and some advice. Like I've only been working with Roy for 4 years. So
buckle up, Buttercup.
Hey, before we get into this, today's episode is brought to you by the good folks over at Black Rifle Energy. I'm drinking Ranger Berry. Jeremy, what do you got?
I got Freedom Punch.
Roy?
I don't know. Wild Frost, it's tasty.
I made sure I got red, white, and blue.
Yes. I like it.
Very good. We're in the wrong order, though.
It is very delicious, but that's Jeremy's fault. He wanted to give you the white one. So
It's good, ain't it?
I know that what your preference is. You like that the clean, crisp flavor, so I didn't want to give you the punch because you're not a punch guy.
Oh, this is really good.
Does it taste like freedom?
Tastes delicious.
That's close
Delicious! No, this is going to be good because
it's close enough to freedom.
they'll be at the Music City Fit Expo
Yeah, they will.
handing these bad boys out.
Yeah. That's a good time for a promo, Roy. Go ahead.
The 2025 Music City Fit Expo, Nashville, Tennessee, Nashville Fairgrounds. It's weird because you're saying Nashville, but it is. Yeah. So Nashville Fairgrounds, Music City Fit Expo in Nashville, Tennessee. Come meet Jay Cutler, Brian Shaw, Olivia Reeves, David Ziegler, Julius Maddox. Who else we got? We got a ton more people.
You can also
that are going to be there. You can come see Barbell
It
Voodoo.
wasn't creepy at all.
Buy some cool gear. You can get a Back It Up Terry shirt that we'll have at the Barbell Voodoo
Cannot
booth.
wait to see this shirt.
So that'll be fun. But it is 2 days this year, May 30th and 31st, Nashville Fairgrounds. Tickets on sale now. VIP is almost sold out.
Let's go. That's a big deal.
Yeah, there are a few booths left. So if you want to get your business in front of thousands and thousands of fitness enthusiasts, go on musiccityfitexpo.com. Reserve your booth now.
I like it.
Wow.
He's in rare form.
I watched
Yeah, he
wrestling
is.
the other day,
Yeah.
and you just handed me caffeine.
And you're basically sleeping here.
a little sleep. the past 2
Basically
days.
sleeping here. We're at Barbell Voodoo's headquarters, and y'all are busy. You just got a big old order. What's going on in here? Why is everybody working? You don't normally work on Fridays, so
Yeah, we try to be closed on Fridays because I like the 3-day weekend rule. I think you get more out of your folks Monday through Thursday. What's he laughing about?
because he's the one working the weekends. I work every freaking weekend.
Yeah, but you don't do shit Monday through Thursday.
How do you know?
Because I see you sitting here and ask me questions.
Because I didn't know. If I knew the answer, I wouldn't ask you a question.
Here's how I know he's not working, because he sends me like the most ridiculous videos all day long. But the worst part is he's getting them from Spanky, who is also not working all day long.
The weekend crew.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, the weekend crew's in rare form.
They're doing their decompression.
But no, we got a huge order that for a health. It's for a gym owners convention in Nashville next weekend.
Oh.
It's just like 212 business owners or gym owners. Business owners. Well, they're all business owners.
Our business owners.
Yeah,
That's
gyms are businesses. And they're going to be there, and they had us do their shirts, event shirts. So we're trying to get them done so they can pick them up early next week and get them all sorted and
Gotcha.
all that fun stuff. And we will be there with a booth talking about affiliate tees.
Let's go.
Because we print not only our stuff, but we can print your stuff.
So
AffiliateTees.com.
get all the plugs in there.
Sorry, dude.
He's plugging.
I love it. By the time this episode's over, we'll have sold out of VIP tickets in the expo.
Yeah, we'll have-
and your orders will go up.
Yeah, I love it.
Orders go up, and Black Rifle will have energy drink sales through the roof.
Yes.
We know this is true because little known fact that Roy is actually a TikTok influencer.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
When Roy speaks on TikTok, people listen.
That's right.
And that's
It's like E.F. Hutton. Remember that? Or am I the only old person in the room? Okay, thank you.
See, I got nothing. I got nothing.
You don't remember
Were you
E.F.
like
Hutton?
No.
What? What did you...
EF what?
E.F. Hutton.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh,
never
when
mind.
E.F. Hutton talks, everybody listens. Oh my gosh, you don't remember that?
I don't remember that.
You got to go look it up.
And I will now.
Look,
Google the
beard,
internet.
Your
You'll
beard
see
says
it.
you're older than you are, Terry.
That's true.
Okay.
Definitely. That's why.
Yeah, for real.
That's good.
4 kids and 2 grandkids will do that to you.
Oh my.
Yeah. It'll whiten your beard in a heartbeat.
Oh my. Yeah.
Let's not talk about us. Let's talk about Jeremy.
Oh my.
Jeremy,
Load.
what do you do for Barbell Voodoo?
Well,
Aside from nothing, according to Roy.
No, he does. He works his ass off.
Most of the time, I do nothing, as Roy says. So I run all the events for Barbell Voodoo. So that means on the weekends or during the weekdays or wherever we need to be. Most of the time, you're going to see my face or one of my team's face. So we try to take care of that, make sure that we're at all the events that we can be, support the gyms and the local competitions and whatever else it is out there in the community going on. That's number one. Number two, for Barbell Voodoo, I do all of the custom sales. So taking that off of Roy's plate because he's got more than he can eat, for lack of a
My
better term.
cup runneth over.
Yeah. It's spilled a long time ago. And you know, with us being able to, with me being able to come on with us now full time. By the way, nobody else knows that until just now. So
Cat's out of the bag.
cat's out of the bag now.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you know, that's going to allow us a lot more freedom to be able to grow that affiliate tees piece of it, grow the Barbell Voodoo piece of it, and then just be able to expand the staff and everything else we have.
That's kind of how I got involved with knowing you two. Or at least meeting you the very first time in person was you came to my, what was it even called? It was the calisthenics games.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And
Yeah.
the climbing
Yeah.
gym.
Yeah.
And
Oh, shoot, yeah.
yeah, you came and set up, which I appreciate you doing that. There was hardly, I don't know if you sold anything.
I had nothing. No.
Yeah. But it was like our inaugural one, and he started setting up. I was like, oh, dang. He came to set up.
You didn't tell me you weren't going to have but 3 people there.
Yeah, it was not a huge
You, your wife, and one
we
other.
we had more competitors than we did. We had
Yeah.
spectators at that point, but yeah, it was brand new.
It's okay.
And it was also moved indoors at the last minute because of the poured down rain.
It was
Oh, no.
pouring rain. Yeah, I remember. No, I did sell some stuff there. It was fun.
Where was it at?
It was at the Crag climbing gym in Nolensville and Old Hickory, the new one.
What year was this?
Oh, it was a minute.
It's been a long time.
2018.
But that's when y'all had all the parallel bars and you had all the other, like the gymnastic stuff in the back.
Right.
So a bunch of people walking on their hands and doing funny stuff. Like I didn't realize how, you know.
Yeah, those dudes
Yeah,
are
yeah.
You also
talented.
made it. You guys made the shirts for that too.
Yes.
So it was that, and then you set up and you hooked me up, and I don't know that we had met personally at that point,
don't
but
think
we
so.
met that following summer at the expo.
At the expo, yeah.
So there's a little origin story for you, but I want to hear your startup story about Barbell Voodoo because I've heard it from Roy.
I want to hear his version.
I know we want to hear your version. So
Okay.
I do know that you guys were friends before Barbell, and you were working out at the same CrossFit gym.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So start there.
All right. So this extremely large gentleman walked in one day, and his name was Roy. And I'm really bad with names. I'm great with faces. I'll remember you all day long with a face, but I'll never remember your name just because I see a lot of people.
Sure.
So I called him Cowboy Roy. And so I was hollering across the gym, Cowboy Roy, just so I could keep remember if I didn't say it.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of one of those you say your name 100 times, you remember it kind of.
And he did.
And I probably hollered all day.
Smart.
So
I like it.
So then the next day he shows back up and we work out again, so on and so forth. We'll fast forward. Then he becomes a coach, level 1, because, you know, Roy can't just do anything like slow speed. He's got to go both feet in the water. He belly flopped. He did it all. He went for it all. So CrossFit level 1, they're like, oh God, you got to come coach, which he has a background of coaching. Really good coach. And he's like, man, I got this idea. And I'm like, what is it? He's like, I want to make a shirt for big guys like us because nobody makes cool shirts. Or I said, why? And he said, because nobody makes cool shirts. I said, okay, well, that's also a fair statement. Yeah. So I'm like, cool. I didn't think much else about it because I worked at that time. I worked for another company, and he's 2 months later. We're in the gym, and he's like, "Hey, I got this idea." I'm like, "What? You want to make a shirt?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What the fuck is stopping you, dude? Like, why are we not making a shirt?" He's like, "Man, I ain't got no money." I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, "How much freaking money can a shirt cost?" Like, I don't have any idea. I don't know. I'm dumb. So I asked him, how much? He's like, it was like $250. I'm like. So I'm looking around. I'm like, cool. I said, cool. I'll be right back. Anyway, I left. I go to the house. I went to grab some money out of the safe, and which again, it was very. I'm like, holy crap. And then I drove over to his house, and I knocked on his door, and he's like, what the hell are you doing at my house? I gave him the money. And I think he was a little in shock. I was beating on his door, but the company I used to work for delivers parcels across the country, so you can figure out which one that is. But anywho, but every day when I leave, so he also lives in the same neighborhood I live in. So every day when I leave, I'd see his car. So it wasn't like rocket surgery ain't real. You know what I mean? You just look over, oh, okay, it's the same person I see and pull up in that car that pulls up here.
Sure.
So I showed up, I grabbed his hat, gave me the money, and he kind of gave me a stupid look, like he likes to do. And then I shook his hand and said, we're partners. And we turned around, walked off, told him to go make a shirt. And that shirt is making the impossible possible, sitting right behind us back there. So
nice.
So it's got the so it said impossible on it and had a red X over the I and the M, so making the impossible possible. So and here we are 12 years later, making the impossible possible.
That's true.
So, there you go.
And in the short time that I've known Roy, watching this company grow year over year has been pretty crazy. And listening to some of the there's a lot, obviously it's a roller coaster ride. Right, any business, any entrepreneurial journey really is, but you keep coming out on top, which is really cool. So I don't know that it feels that way to you guys.
Some days it does not,
because I know it doesn't feel like that to me when you're riding the roller coaster. Yeah. But like, let's talk about this year. What was one of the lowest points, and then we'll talk pivot and see where talk about how we come out of it.
This year's been pretty solid.
This year's been pretty solid, to be real. Last year was
terrible.
God, it was such a it was a challenge until October.
Yeah,
it was every month, was it not? It was just
first off, we started out with a competition that I talked him into going to, that he didn't want to go, and I talked to him, I begged him. He said, I told him, this was our year 2 doing it. We did it the first year. I said, okay, I can fix the setup, I can make it better, I can do all that. He reluctantly said, okay, let me go back to Miami for a comp. And we made the money we needed to pay for everything, but it's like just crushed. I mean, we were just so far in the hole when we got back home. I mean, it costs money to do all that stuff. So, and then we were in a fight
But I mean, the thing, like that comp, it's a huge comp.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those, like you're going to take risk, but calculated risk.
Right.
And he had kind of leveraged himself to be in a good spot, right? So it just, what we didn't know that we're kind of seeing now, 2 years past that, is that one's kind of lost its luster.
Sure.
And we were at the crest of where it was going over the hill, and we didn't know it.
Yeah, nobody knew.
So, you go down there, and it's not like he didn't make money. He come back with a lot of money.
Yeah.
But we're still 15 in the hole.
Yeah.
Which is, okay, now you got to shovel for the next
2
few months. Yeah.
Right. I think we finally came out in March. We got everything fixed. Rest of January, rest of February. We had a good March. And I don't know what the hell happened in April.
It was just tough, man.
It was just rough.
Online was chaotic at best, and events were pretty solid. But it was just a challenge.
Sure.
The whole year was a challenge. But I think it's also your mindset of when you start off the year going, oh, Jesus.
Well,
You also look for the moments the rest of the year.
Yeah.
And I think last year,
It's easy to do that, yeah.
last year we made a big change though too.
Some big changes.
We made
yeah.
some huge changes last year. Number one, you came on full time. That was one big.
That's a big change.
Huge. So that was a game changer for us as a whole. Number two, we kind of went back and said, okay, why are we doing every event? Every event. If it's got 50 people, we were showing up. We were driving 18 hours to be there, and you lose money. And it's one of those things. Okay, we still want to support that event because that's what we do. We're businesses supporting each other. They buy shirts from us, but we have to support them when they have a competition.
Right.
And there's 100 ways to do that. You don't have to show up.
Sure.
Still, me being there doesn't necessarily make that happen. I can send gift cards to the winners. I can send prize packs for everybody who signs up, 20% coupons. I can do lots of little things, and that's what we started focusing on last year, which then, in turn, I think that's probably about where we were at, like March, April. We didn't quit doing events, but we shut events. We were doing 30, 40 events a month with the team, and we were down to 15 to 20. So, we cut events almost in half. And so that quick hit of cash that we always were getting that made us feel like we were on that ride, we had to spend it. We had to spend it the next Monday, but we felt great. Yeah. You felt great on Sunday when you could look at the bank account.
Yeah.
Then Monday, I'd already sold enough shirts. What cost of goods says you got to replenish. If I don't have green shirts, guess what? I can't print green shirts.
Right.
So I got to have to redo that. So kind of that's the roller coaster.
Well, that's it. That's what. Let's get into that a little bit too, so people understand before we go any further, because you guys' business operates. I don't know, it's a little bit different than the magazine or the expo for that for the all intents and purposes. You have to spend in order to make, and then you have to replenish.
Correct.
So just talk about that, and talk about what metrics you were using to decide which event to go to, which one to not go to, and then we'll move on.
Yeah. Well, with shirts, so we changed. This has been a couple years ago. Mm-hmm. We used to pre-print everything.
Yeah.
Which is fine, and a lot of businesses can do that. We have a trillion SKUs.
Oh, dang.
So if you're trying to stock all that stuff and track your profitability on each SKU, it's essentially impossible.
Sure.
Because, if we print this one shirt and we print 300 of them to get it at a certain price, well, then we run through all the mediums and it's still hot. Well, guess what? I need to buy more mediums. Well, in order to keep the profitability of that SKU at the same, I'd have to buy 300 mediums. Well, I don't need 300 mediums. I only need 100 mediums.
Right.
So it was just a mess.
It's a headache.
And we're outsourcing everything, and it may be 2 weeks before the stuff comes in, and if it comes in, it doesn't look right, and you got to turn around and reorder. It was a headache. So we just brought everything in-house. So
we started bringing everything.
We started bringing everything in-house. Yep. So then we can control the quality of everything going out of here. If something's wrong, we can fix it. You can control your cost, and you can print on time.
Right. So
instead of having to print, spending $2,200 to get a run of this design, I can, if it's not hot, I put it online, and if it's a dud, well, we printed however many sold because we just print them on demand.
Right.
So that was a big change.
I kind of liken that to for now, after COVID, the car business, just in time, right? JIT, that's what they call it, just in time service. Okay, well, you go on Hyundai or Ford or whomever, who cares, right? Their website, and you order said car, which now Hyundai's delivering through Amazon, by the way. Craziest thing.
What?
You can buy a car. Go to Amazon right now, you can buy a Hyundai.
That's wild.
Craziest thing. First one ever delivered in the United States was in Columbia, Tennessee. So that first car that was actually ordered from there and delivered, it was down here.
Wow.
How do they fit it in the van? I'm just kidding.
This guy.
This guy.
Yeah.
Hopefully it wasn't an EV. But anyway,
Yeah.
here leave that alone. But Yes, I mean, so just-in-time ordering is that's how we're going to, so we had to take that mindset of, okay, you make X amount of profit per shirt. How do you keep that number the same and level? This is the way to do that.
Right.
Because we can, the shirts, we might have, like I was talking about, you and I were joking about a green shirt. Okay, I got 20 things on a green shirt, so I can buy 1,000 green shirts. It makes no difference. I don't have to print the same thing on that green shirt over and over again.
Yep.
And then I think you asked about the metrics of how we decided where we were going to go and when we were
for
going to
events.
go. So every event is tracked very differently. All events are tracked the same, but they're tracked differently than that metric. And the brains of the operation over here created me a spreadsheet, because God knows I would have never been able to do it. But it's
Same here.
Yeah, right.
I depend on Roy for spreadsheets as well.
Right. Yeah. So the big thing being, we do miles from location.
Right.
Okay. So let's say Joni, who lives in Alabama, Lower Alabama right now. Let's say she now has to drive to Mississippi or New Orleans or wherever. Well, that may be 200 miles for her, and her car gets 77 miles to the gallon or whatever it is. She got like a Toyota Highlander, so she gets like really good gas mileage. Well, the difference is if I drive here and I drive that monster diesel and I'm hauling a 20-foot trailer,
right,
I get 10 miles to the gallon. So we've actually calculated all of that. We know like my truck and Spanky's truck get pretty close to the same gas mileage. So we have that in there. We actually have the miles from where the location. So if you're leaving from warehouse to location, and we kind of have it like it's kind of wild. Okay, how many athletes are going to be there?
Gotcha.
We know the amount of money we should make per athlete. That doesn't mean there may be 9 million people show up to watch them, or there may not. But we got to calculate our number on there. You've sold 100 tickets to compete,
right?
And so that's kind of where we're at, and
it gives you a baseline.
Right. I'm not saying you don't show up and make bukus of extra money because grandma and grandpa showed up, or mom and dad, or whatever. But you if you don't say, okay, I'm only going to make $10 per athlete or $20 per athlete or whatever that number is, and you show up and you expect to make $20,000 and you make $4,000, that's when you're down $16,000 in the hole.
Right.
It's just kind of one of those. It's a math problem, and that's kind of how we figured out where we were going to go and when we were going to go. And then some of it, stupidly to us, or not really stupid, but kind of one of them things like we figured out, okay, availability. Mm-hmm. Availability really makes a difference. Because if I can send one of my Florida people to the Florida comp, one of my Georgia people to a Georgia comp, my Alabama girl to a Mississippi or a Louisiana comp, and then I can go to a comp either here, and then I can send Spanky to one in Tennessee or Kentucky or something. Everybody's within a couple of hours.
Right.
Well, we can make the most profitability at that point, and then the one that's in Missouri that only has 100 athletes that we don't go to, that we still sent them some stuff, and we get 20 or 30 online purchases because we sent them some. Well, we still made money at that comp.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of, I think that's where we came together. Like, it's a meeting of the minds. And I'm like, hey, there's another large company out here that started the same time we started. And I haven't seen them at a competition in years.
Right.
But this is what they do. The competition still says, oh, sponsored by so-and-so, right? It's only a 20% coupon and a gift bag. That's all they've done. And they do it every single time.
Yeah.
Okay, well, why can't we? We
You're
started at the same time. We have the same, people know us all the same.
Yeah.
So, it's not that we don't want to be out there around the people. We love that. That's my thing. I'm going to tell you right now that if you see me, I'm going to say hi to you because I don't have the ability not to talk. So you're good. Just better hang on. It's going to happen.
I think pointing that out is why I wanted you guys to talk about those things, elaborate, because I think that's just smart business. And that's being 12 years in the game. That's going through a whole bunch of trial and error and understanding the ups and downs and really trying to control your costs.
Yes.
And it's really good advice for people who are thinking about coming to the expo too. Like that, all that stuff's full circle.
Yes, it is.
Understanding the baseline of what you can make. And then it's like you said, it doesn't mean you're not going to do bigger, better things once you're there. But if you can't cover your costs,
well, then you're out of business.
You're out of business. Yeah.
Then you don't get to cover anybody, and then you can't go to anybody's gym.
Right.
You know.
And then it's not fun anymore.
It's not fun.
It's not fun when you're losing money.
And when it
you know.
becomes not fun, it sucks.
Yeah.
Because then you got to deal with Angry Bear over here, and then of course that makes me angry.
Roy doesn't get angry.
Yeah, okay. Y'all don't get to see it. I do. And it's not that it's not angry. I think it's a constant strive that he's had and I've had, and we always strive to be better.
Right.
And and what is it? What I say? What's with my word? I can't think of it. Something dissatisfied.
Well, you never want to rest on your laurels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, whatever, like I always move the goalposts, right? So if you were doing back in the day, we'd do $500 a day online.
Yeah.
And like for the first week, it's awesome. And then if it dips down to 400, you're like, what in the F? You know what I mean?
You get used to it, yeah.
Then it climbs to 1,000. You're like, for the first couple of days, that's awesome. And then it drops down to 500. You're like, what in the hell? Well, you used to be happy, but you know what I mean?
No,
But
I do.
So it's just it's always wanting better. And I know sometimes I get on my own nerves because I know I push, but because we push, we're like I'm full time, he's full time. We've got we providing jobs for people.
Sure.
We've built something. It's nobody's getting rich, but just the fact that, we've done what we've done and, our bills are paid because of our own doing, not depending on somebody else to, it's a sense of pride, man.
No, I agree. I want to put a pin in that because I want to talk a little bit about that. We got to take a quick break. We'll do that. We'll take a break. We'll hear from some words from Spread the Positive, and we'll be right back.
Here in Nashville for the 7th Country Music Marathon and Half Marathon. I think it says a lot about the city of Nashville, what it has to offer.
All right, before the break, we were talking about moving the goalposts, and I don't think that's an issue per se in business. I think that's an attribute. I know it feels because I had this conversation with my wife when I'm always thinking about projecting and thinking about where we're growing, where we're going to go, and she's helping run the Nashville Fit. And she's I'm always venting the next idea out. I'm always trying to vet. For me, that's life-giving, and I know that's similar for you. We share that visionary mindset, but you also that's more what you're describing. Moving the goalposts is one way of saying it, but you keep casting vision, and when you cast vision and you grow, you want to see the fruit of that growth. And for you, that the example you gave was higher sales, right?
Yeah.
So that's always the goal. Right, because higher sales does equal growth. So, I'm interested to know because I feel I actually I couldn't tell you because I know you're a visionary, but you're also a very practiced integrator. And I'm pulling this from the Traction book.
Yeah.
So the EOS book. And that's how it is for me. Like because you've been in business for so long, you have to learn how to integrate because you've got to start with a small staff and build your way up, right?
Yeah.
Where's this guy in that? Is he a visionary integrator? Where's Jeremy set based on?
I'm gonna butcher my EOS terminology here. I need to revisit the book.
You don't have to use that. I mean, there's other ways to do it too.
He is all right. So I am not a people person. Let's be real. I can be when I have to be on, but it's not my thing. I'm not comfortable there.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable solving problems. Mm-hmm. I'm comfortable kind of figuring out ways to make things better and do that stuff. I would much rather him always be the face of all this.
Yeah.
because I don't need that. I can't. It doesn't matter to me. He is also 1,000 times better with people than I will ever be. And like, he is like, he just meets everybody. He doesn't meet strangers. You know, I could see somebody like, oh, you know, I should go say hi. Yeah, I'm not going to. And it's not because I'm rude. It's just, I'm just not comfortable with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where him, we walk, funny story.
Oh, Lord.
So the other day he's like, hey, I'm going to go smoke a cigar. You want to meet me at the Mission Place? I'm like, yeah, I'll meet you up there. So I come up there, and, you know, part of his job is to sell customs.
Sure.
So I walk in. He goes, hey, meet so-and-so. He's the owner of Mission. He's ordering 50 shirts. Can you talk to him about pricing? I'm like, what? I literally just walked in the door. Like, so he had been there like 10 minutes, and he talks to the owner, and that quick builds a rapport. Here's, you know, and they've talked before, right? Because he goes there, but just, you know, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, he is a consummate sales professional.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you don't have somebody like that on your team and it's not your strong suit, that's a problem. Mm-hmm. So I'm extremely lucky. We're the opposite of each other.
Well, yeah.
And that's what makes me and him work. I mean, we don't butt heads. We've been in business 12 years. We probably had one disagreement ever.
That's kind of where I was going with it. It's like the power of a complementary opposite in your partnership. That goes. I mean, that's also marriage talk. But
it is. It's 100%.
Really well business.
Yeah. Same exact thing.
Yeah.
Like if you, you know, my wife and I, we have to be opposite.
Yeah.
Because I can't. Same as you.
Yeah.
You all are. I know you.
Same
you
here.
I mean,
Yeah.
Thing is, I've known you guys all. So same principle.
Yeah.
And same difference for Roy though. If I had to do what he's doing, I would have been out of business 12 years ago. So I can just tell you that right now. I wouldn't do it.
Right.
I'm just not going to do it. I solve problems differently than he solves problems. Mm-hmm. My way probably wouldn't have worked out so well for us. So it's better that he solves the problems than I do it.
I think it's interesting because I would say we're opposites too, but not quite as
right.
I'm not quite in the same bucket as you. Like I am. It's still hard for me to go right up to somebody.
Oh, that's my job.
Like I got to talk myself into it. And sometimes I go to an event and I'm in my brain about I don't want to do this, and I get there and I'm a social butterfly. I come out of my shell. So I'm in a weird middle ground here as a practiced extrovert, but I recharge like an introvert does.
Right.
I can only take so much of a social situation. So,
and I think
that's why I go on vacation after the expo.
Yeah,
and I think that's part of Roy too. Like
yeah. I know we share that in common for sure.
He can for sure go do it if he has to. Mm-hmm. Like last night, he had to go do it, and he did. He turned it on for 3 or 4 hours, and then he turned it back off, and he don't want to do that again.
Right.
It was one of those. Somebody asked us to do something on a whim, and he begrudgingly probably agreed to it because his wife works there at the school. Anyway, but he did it. Yada yada yada. But with that being said, he's always been able to go. Like when we first started, you got to remember when we first started, we didn't have any employees. It was Roy and I and Amy, and that's who we had. So every weekend when we went somewhere, Roy would go to a football game on Friday night because he stood on the sideline because he had to hold the coach back. And then he would get back to home 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. And 5 in the morning, we were leaving in the van, have the van packed, and here comes Roy showing up. He's got two energy drinks, and he's over here. And I'm like, have you slept? No. We're driving 12 hours.
Blaring metal music.
Yeah. He pulls in the driveway 142 miles an hour, and it's got speed metal. I'm like, Roy, you got to turn that shit down. Everybody in the house is asleep. He's like, he had
Who needs sleep? What's sleep?
Yeah. And then, then as he's driving down the road, he's trying to play Instagram or whatever because he's trying to grow the business. I'm like, dude, we're going to have to figure something out. I'm going to drive. He's like, you can't drive because I can't ride. So I'm like, well, you can quit Instagramming while I'm in the damn car. You know what I mean? So, he's like, okay, that's more fair. I'm like, if we're stopped, I don't care. we'd be going down the interstate. Whatever, mock Jesus in that van, rattling, and Roy's over there going. I'm gonna tell you now. I'm gonna be honest with you. The Joker could keep it in between the lines while he was doing. I don't know how he did.
Oh, you get good at that stuff.
Like I'm not real sure how because he wasn't watching the road for sure. He was Instagram.
You got the dotted line and
Kept
the straight
between
line
the
and
mayonnaise and the
peripheral.
mustard the whole time.
Look, Joker was motivating down through there too. I'm like, all right, well,
I've never heard that.
At some point, I'm like, well, I just gotta trust it. Let's go with it. Yeah. Somebody had the wheel. I don't know if it's Jesus or
Jesus definitely had the wheel most times.
Yeah.
No, I like the parallel is really important. I think it should help people who are listening to this when they're understanding. I think it's the why with the opposites is something. Let's just take a hot second on.
Yeah.
And I will say from my perspective, when we got the magazine and we got the expo, and I've said this so many times, and the first person I ran to was Roy. One, I wanted to partner with somebody who I knew had more experience, i.e. smarter than me. Two, I wanted someone who would shoot down bad ideas because I'm good at ideas.
What are you talking about, lightning bolt?
Yeah. So if the idea,
lightning bolt.
if that idea ain't good, I want to know
My idea
quickly.
My idea was great. He just didn't like it.
You just didn't sell it well.
No, because my vision, what I see,
You didn't communicate your vision.
the crackle I had going in my head was freaking like the Ride the Lightning album, right?
All right, so let me tell my version of this story.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
This is good.
So we're at Beach Brawl. I'll never forget where we were at when you give me this idea.
Oh, it's at your house, fool.
No, we weren't, because I remember I was standing under the tent, and he goes, "I got this amazing idea. You ready for this?" And then he hits me. He's like, lightning bolt. And then I could tell when he said it and the look in my face that he realized he didn't communicate his vision correctly. Because he's like, oh, I didn't cast the vision there. Because I'm like, I don't get it. And then he's trying to he's like, ride the lightning. I'm like, okay, well, I get that. But the way you spit it out was like lightning bolt. And I'm like, I don't get it. So then this year, that same year, we do our Christmas party, and I invited our screen printer. So I'm sitting there, the screen printer and him come walking in with these shirts.
Uh-oh.
That had this big ass lightning bolt on it, and I'm just looking at him, and they're just laughing. I'm like, I'm glad you're happy with yourself. He got his shirt.
I remember the story a little different, but it's all right. We were at his garage when it's
Or it could have been a garage.
We were sitting there, and he was sitting on a jump box, and I pitched this idea. It may have been after we got back from Beach Ball. I pitched this idea, and he literally looked at me just like he said, "No." Well, that's about an asshole. You didn't even want to know about it or nothing, In my head, though, I had this beautiful, if you're a Metallica fan, which I am, Ride the Lightning album cover, all the blues and the purples and this lightning bolt going down. That's what I had in my head. It came out as lightning bolt, and he saw the Incredible.
I saw Flash. Remember the Flash Gordon?
Oh yeah,
he saw the Incredibles or Flash Gordon or whatever it is he was thinking. I had something completely different in my head.
Which, hey, technically you win because we did do that sciatica shirt, which was Ride the Lightning.
So,
yeah,
again,
you won.
But that was the fun part. So I just quit giving him ideas.
No, he's had good ideas.
No,
don't let him.
I don't quit giving. I spit them out even if they're dumb. I don't care.
Well, this. You guys are going where I wanted to go anyway. This is perfect. When you started the first shirt design, which we briefly talked about, that seems different than where you ended up going with.
Oh yeah,
I feel like you guys are masters of satire.
Yeah.
How'd you get there? Like, whose idea was that?
All right. So in the beginning, I think this is anybody when you do something creative.
Yeah.
Or at least this is what we went through, or what I felt like we went through when we first started. Like, we come out of the box, we had probably 3 hot ones right in a row.
Yep. Well, you had.
And then I felt like the well was dry.
We had Impossible, Limitless, and then we did the Sugar Skull.
Well, then 4 because the Voodoo Doll one.
Okay.
With all the colors.
Voodoo Doll and then Skull.
Yeah.
Sugar Skull.
And then it was like, now what?
First 4, yeah.
Like, we didn't have anything. And then we were going to an event. He goes, hey, what if we do the Jack Daniels logo? I was like, oh, okay. And then we did like 2 different colorways. We did like a black with a white print.
Yeah.
And we did the honey version, which was the white shirt with the gold print. And then,
I did good.
yeah, so then I forget how.
Somehow we did Golden Girls next, right?
No. It was a lot longer after that. I can't remember what the first one was, but when I first remember doing the satire stuff was we got our first booth at regionals. We did regionals that very first year.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the CrossFit Games announcement and watching Dave Castro's shitty writing. Like, he is the worst handwriting on the planet.
The second one.
Well, we did both of them that year.
We did Dave drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yep.
And then we did
His calligraphy club or something.
Calligraphy class or something.
Yeah.
Castro's calligraphy club.
So, and we would just like mix 2 things.
Sure.
That was kind of the, like, we like this. What if we mix it with this? Just mashups. And that's kind of how it started, but it started on like, it wasn't like any kind of big plan, like, hey, this is our new direction. We just had some funny ideas. We put them out.
Yeah.
Those were hot. We're like,
Okay.
well, let's do more of the stuff that's hot. The stuff that works. Let's do more of the stuff that works.
Yeah.
We're down that rabbit hole now.
And we just went way down that rabbit hole. Yeah.
Well, so we did the Nash shirt that looked like MASH. We did that one.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. That was a good
that
one.
was a good one.
That's
Yeah.
a great one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah, that was a great shirt. We sold the heck out of them shirts. We need to bring that back.
We should bring that back.
I think we need to bring back Sugar Skull too.
I do too. I like that one.
I love a sugar skull.
Yeah, that was an awesome shirt.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for skulls. They're tattooed all over me.
Yeah,
so.
me too. Yeah, me too.
So, I think
But the fun stuff, like even this one, like we had this one, but we made it said respect.
Yeah.
That was the
Remember that
first
one?
version of that, yeah.
First version it says respect, and but it says Barbell Voodoo underneath of it. I thought I had this shirt on. I'm gonna be honest with you, I wasn't paying any attention.
I had that on it.
Man, everybody's like, "Where'd you get that shirt?" Well, I've been doing this for 12 years. I got all the shirts. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was it this last
Yeah.
weekend. I had it on.
Oh, wow.
I was setting up. I was putting a booth together down in Florida. So I was like, "Dude, y'all got to come back out with that shirt." I'm
Yeah.
like,
I need to tell Roy.
And that's also what's cool, like, because we've been doing this so long, a lot of the old stuff is new again.
It's true. Yeah.
Because you can just, we've been around 12 years.
Yeah.
So
start recycling some stuff.
the catalog we've got of designs, as many as we come out with every year, it's massive.
Well, and then there's I'm sure you guys have been all over the place. Like, you go to a ton of events, and obviously you mail order, what you guys sell online is
Mail order, Terry?
I know it's been
What
a
was
minute.
this, Sears?
It's been a minute. You guys send out the catalog?
Yeah.
I thought he was getting a new bride.
You know what I mean?
Send in your
the
check
online
with
stuff.
COD.
we're getting CDs. Pick 17 for a penny.
Yeah.
I remember that. Those were good days. You're so excited to get those CDs in the mail.
Columbia House.
This is the Columbia House.
Till you got the bill for $17 you couldn't pay. Yeah, I got those.
Yeah.
I thought it was $1. Just get in the shipping. No, since you guys have been doing so much online sales, you see your shirts everywhere, and I haven't told you this. I kind of forgot about it till just now. I was in Kettering, Ohio, for my dad who's having surgery. Come down to go to the cafeteria, and there's a girl sitting there, with the Barbell Voodoo shirt on,
Love it.
and I was like, we're in the middle of nowhere, Ohio.
It never gets old.
It's awesome. Like, and I've seen your shirt in an airport. Like, you guys are everywhere.
It never gets old.
The fun one to me now has become, because I fly a lot, I do a lot of stuff to get to certain events, and because we're able to do that finally. But it's fun to see somebody, and because me, I'm like I told you, I'm gonna talk to somebody anyway. So I'll sit down and talk to them about the shirt and have a conversation. We'll never tell them it's me.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I
didn't know
do it
you
all
did
the
that.
time. Just like, and finally they get down and be, I'm one of the owners. And they're like, oh, it freaks them out.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, working on some events we have coming up, I put it on the Juju alert over there, and I got found the person online. I got their phone number. So,
Oh, that's a good story. Tell that story.
So she is the president of. There's a big merchant company out of Mississippi that does all of the Christmas events from all over. So that's what we're working on, getting all the Christmas villages lined up. So I applied. First off, I called her, and talked to her. She had no idea who I was. I did not tell her. I'm not Jeremy Gossett. That's all I told her.
Yeah.
And so talk. And anyway, because I don't want to tell somebody from Christmas Village, hey, I'm with Barbell Voodoo. You know, people are like, probably not so much for Christmas Village.
Right. They've already associated something in their brain.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, nope, don't do that. I just, hey, listen, I'm interested in this. And so she's like, hey, go to here. So she walked me through it. This is the president of the marketing company. So she walks me through it. So I key everything in. I fire it off to her. I mean, 2 minutes later, I get an email, but she's like, oh my God, or a text. She sent me a text. She said, oh my God, I didn't realize you were with Barbell Voodoo. We love you guys.
That's
She's
awesome.
like, we do CrossFit at so-and-so. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, well, hey, I happen to be one of the owners. Pleasure to meet you, da-da-da-da-da. So anyway, they got us in all the Christmas villages that we didn't think we would get in. We got in all of them.
Nice.
Oops. Yeah. So, but then another young lady calls me. I'm like, okay, let me answer this. So I answer it. She's like, hey, this is so-and-so. And I can't remember her name off the top of my head. It's in my computer. But she's like, oh, yeah, well, we'd love to have you. Can't wait. We're big fans of your guys's. And my parents own CrossFit in Olive Branch, Mississippi. They own the CrossFit gym. She's like, we love y'all. Y'all been down to a couple of our comps. So, like, it just comes full circle to show.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like we were talking about, you go help the smaller events and you go do these things and you go do whatever. And people realize, oh, these people are good people. Just because the name says Barbell Voodoo, it makes you run faster, jump higher, and see farther, whatever. It doesn't have to be bad voodoo. You know what I mean? Grip the bar harder, whatever. I don't care. Squat deeper.
Well, yeah, you're building what you're pointing at is you're building rapport, right?
That's it.
Like it's a process. It takes a long time, and you guys are now experiencing some of that. You're reaping the harvest of that.
Yes,
you know, just being good people and doing that type of stuff. We experienced that with the expo as well, right? It's a little easier year on year to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because we've proven it. And there's not a whole lot extra you have to say unless they've never been or they don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But then you say Brian Shaw.
Yeah.
Or Jay Cutler.
Right.
And I always go with Jay Cutler, not the Vanderbilt football player.
That's it. That's how he pitches it.
That's how I pitch it. You know, Jay Cutler, not the Vanderbilt guy.
Right. Not the
And they're like,
Vanderbilt guy,
you know, and then you can see them process it in their mind. Like, like, you know, it's always fun.
Well, let's talk because we haven't really done this yet. So let's get into the weeds. Worst, hardest moment. Tell me about the darkest time of Barbell Voodoo. Pop quiz.
I don't know off the top of my head.
Me neither.
Darkest?
I don't really know if there's
Do
been.
you remember the biggest pivot? Because it's usually linked.
I mean, there's a lot of pivots.
Well, when we got to warehouse was one of the big pivots.
Yeah, but those
were all good things.
they're stressful things, but they weren't like
Yeah.
Devastating.
the lights aren't going to be on. Like,
Well, and, you know,
I mean, there's I mean, randomly you'll have a down month where, you know, it gets tight. I mean, right now it's tight, but it's not like there's no hope. You know what I mean? I'm look at the calendar for April and we got so much going on. I'm like, we're fine. You know, you're going to have, but we also have the experience of 12 years of watching the cycle. So we know, okay, it may be down here, but right around the corner, you know, we know this is coming. So
Yeah.
I don't know that there's been like just dark moments. I can't think of any. Can you?
not off the top of my head.
That's a good thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess, you know, way back when we were really trying to figure out, okay, what the darkest day probably was like day 50 in the business. When I shook his hand and we was like, okay, what are we going to do? We sold out of the first 25 shirts and we're like, okay, now who do we sell to?
Yeah.
That was dark.
That
Yeah,
was the darkest
that's
time.
true.
It was like, who's our customer? Where are we going to find this customer? Like that.
And neither of us had any business experience.
Yeah.
I mean, well, how do we? Oh shit! What are we going to do now? Kind of. It was you know, that was.
How do you build a website? How do you take credit card payments?
Yeah, none of this we had.
How do you file an LLC? Like, we didn't know any of this stuff.
So I mean, like, again, not dark, but it's like, oh crap, we got to buckle up. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
one of them. And fortunately, I have buckle in Johnny over here, because if it would have been me, we would have been done. Like 30 days in, we would have been out of business.
Yeah.
He buckled in and took the reins, and both of us are too stubborn to quit. So
I've seen
That's
I've
our
seen that,
secret of success.
Yeah, there you go. This is the secret to success. Too stubborn to stop.
Yeah.
too stubborn to quit.
I think that's something we can elaborate on, right? I've seen businesses get to real big, or at least entrepreneurs get to what you could call quote unquote success, that still run their business without knowing some of those key things. And that what they did is they got successful so fast that they didn't go back and make sure they shored up the foundations of business. And they certainly didn't put that stuff first, as most entrepreneurs don't. No one runs out and files an LLC first,
You're right.
right? And then rarely ever are we that sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know there's a handful of people probably did that. And they're like, well, wait, I did that.
Yeah, not very much.
I've seen it though, where those checks and balances aren't in place. The money's coming in faster than they know where to put it, as far as the buckets to keep it there for expenses and growth, right? And then it ends up, they end up with 50 employees, and then there's problems, right? The cracks start to get exposed.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah, and that's so having the wherewithal at 50 days to be like, we should probably legitimize this thing. I don't think everybody knows that. Like, I don't think that's a standard.
We didn't either.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Yeah.
Is my mother worked for an attorney my entire life, so she said, "Hey, you might want to start with this." And then I told him, and he's like, "Okay." And he put it on the jugular and figured out how to do it. And then
that was it. We just kind of
that's how we kind of felt our way through it.
yeah. Felt our way through it. That's a good way of putting it.
And then and the other piece to that you hit on, you hit it right on the head to me, was cracks in the foundation. And
Right.
he and I have been talking about this. I don't know, for the last 2 months. We've really been focused in on this. If we had tried to grow this company like we're about to 12 years ago,
Yeah.
we would have destroyed everything we had. We probably still wouldn't be friends. We would have
Right.
killed each other. There's that. Then there's the second part is you can't support what we have without doing what we've done. We did it the slow way. I got it, but it's a strong foundation now. Oak trees don't grow big and strong in a day.
No, exactly.
We're getting big. We got a solid block foundation now, and now that he's been here full time for a while. Now I've been able to come over. Guess what? Now I feel comfortable going out and selling thousands of shirts at a time to these people because
we can do it.
we can handle it. We could not have done it before. We would have crumbled because we wouldn't have been able to fulfill orders or whatever.
Well, that's the secret sauce,
Yeah.
right? Sean from Banff Hammer. I was talking to him.
He came by. I saw him in Pensacola this weekend.
Yeah. So I talked to him on Wednesday on the phone, and he shot me an email after that, and his signature said something that I was like, man, that's so powerful that a lot of people don't understand it. And they apply it. I know he's applying it to fitness in the email signature, and I don't know if it's his original quote or not. Sean, if this is you, this is your moment. but this is his little signature says the obstacle is the way, and I think that applies to business and on so many stinking levels. And you guys are you're proof of that. Like having the success that you have now, to go back to 50 days, if you turned that faucet on, it would destroy.
Absolutely.
It would destroy
yeah.
you because you've got to go faster and all the other things that could possibly go wrong, and you're going to be at each other's throats to get it done because you've got to deliver, right? And you won't be able to deliver. That's that, not at the way that you could now. And I right now, like this is and I want to leave you guys. I want you to talk about this because there are business owners out there that are looking for that exact same thing. They're looking for, in lack of a better term, it's the get rich quick. It's the how fast can I scale? I need to scale. I need to go get a venture capital to come give me $1 million infusion of whatever so I can go to $5 million. Like, those people are out there because they're watching some guy on Instagram pose in front of a Lamborghini. Talk about
The rented
Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Talk a minute about the systems and processes that you've had to set up and about that type of stuff. Like, just elaborate for me for a bit.
Well, the get rich quick is, as far as I'm concerned, is false. Yeah. I mean,
Quick is 11 years.
Overnight success. You can't build anything without a foundation. You can't build a house. You don't build the roof first.
Right.
It just doesn't work that way. You can't support it. I mean, you have to know, especially as you do grow a business or scale it, as you add people, a lot of solopreneurs, you have your way of doing all the things.
Right.
Whether it be clean the toilet, print a label, pack a shirt. If you hire people to do any of those jobs and you want that same level of quality, you have to teach them how to do it a specific way. And it has to be replicatable and teachable, where this is how we fold a shirt. I don't want you to fold it your way. I don't want me to fold it my way. We fold it this way.
Right.
That way, if you order a shirt, I order a shirt, he orders a shirt, everyone gets the same experience.
It's McDonald's.
It's the McDonald's way. Yeah, for lack of a better term.
I mean, just
It's
think about
exactly
it.
what
You order
it
a
is.
quarter pounder in California, it's the same quarter pounder you get in Tennessee.
Same
Makes no
one.
difference.
Yeah.
He might be
Consistency.
Might be vegan there, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, without the process, right? Yeah, without the without the process, then you can't. There is no growth, right? There is no foundation.
There is no growth.
There's only a matter of time before it will be exposed. The other side of that, which is the other part of the coin that does need mentioned, is you can analyze to paralyze.
Yep, that's
Right.
right. Yeah.
Like
Paralysis by analysis.
I have met those guys in the past. It's like, no, you just
Yeah.
My bad.
you just need to pull the trigger, right?
Sometimes the trigger you got.
You have to be careful, though.
Sometimes you got to have
because-
sticky finger on the trigger because I promise you, had I not had him, and he not me, I would have spent all the money first. Like I said, 50 days we'd have been out of business because I'd have spent all the money.
Sure.
I had to have Captain Save-A-Lot over here because if I didn't, we wouldn't be.
Yeah. You have,
Yeah.
You're right. You have to pull the trigger, but you also you have to be very careful. Like risk is, you're going to have risk,
It's inevitable.
but it's calculated risk. Like he was saying, you have to go, okay, if we do this, what's the best case? What's the worst case?
Right.
If you can, and usually you're going to fall somewhere in the middle. If you are acceptable of the worst case scenario, this is how I do things.
Yeah.
If I'm acceptable of what the worst case scenario is going to be,
Let's go.
then let's go.
Right.
Too often, people look at everything through rose-colored glasses and go, you know what? I'm going to put this shirt out, and trust me, I hear this a lot. I'm starting a clothing company, and I'm getting a manufacturer overseas, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to dump 30 grand that I borrowed from my mother on her entire retirement, and we're going to order sports bras. Okay, how many samples have you got in?
0.
Oh, we didn't get it samples. Okay, so what if they all fit wrong? Huh? Yeah.
Right.
So
I have that conversation about once a week when I'm out
yeah.
there.
So you got to take risks, because without risk there is no reward. But it's got to be very calculated, and you have to be acceptable of whatever the worst case scenario is.
Well, then that's a good example of a simple calculation, like a simple trial and error.
Sure.
A sample. Let's go into this a little bit more. I know I'm digging deep here, and this is going to end up being a 2-hour podcast, but it's because people need to know this stuff. So if we're counting the cost, if we're taking a calculated risk, simple ways to calculate that risk would be.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, number one, if you know your numbers, okay.
Yeah.
As far as, okay, we're going to go do this event. This is the easiest way to give you an example. If we're going to this event and it's going to cost us X amount to go, let's say it's $1,000, and they say they have 100 athletes there. Okay, well, 1,000, we know 1,000 is going to be too much, because if we know and we have an internal spreadsheet that says if there's this many people, we're going to make this many. Literally, you put in the number, it kicks out how much you're going to make.
Right.
Well, we know it's not just you're going to make this amount of money, because there's your COGS involved. There's travel involved. There's the cost of the event. You have to pay somebody to work the event. There's probably a hotel, mileage. Most people don't even think of that.
Yeah.
When they're going, hey,
No,
I'm going
100% don't
I'm
think
going
of that.
to this event in Columbus. Well, how long is it going to take you to get there? I don't know. What's that cost?
Right.
Six
That's-
hours there, 6 hours home.
That's how you take a calculated risk.
Yeah.
You take all the data and you analyze it and go, okay, if the worst case of this comes out, and again, between worst and best, you're going to fall in the middle 9 times out of 10. The worst case is we walk out of there even Steven.
Right.
Okay, well, with even Steven, if you did have let's say 500 transactions, I said 100 people. Yeah. Let's say you had 20 transactions. You got 20 new emails that we can market to every single day of the week for the next 12 months. We're probably going to be okay.
Sure.
Yeah, you end up winning in the long run.
Yeah.
Right.
So and that's what Roy likened a long time ago. Told me we're playing the long game, Jeremy. We're playing the long game. We're not playing get rich quick. Again, no such thing. We're playing the long game, and if we play the long game, which getting emails, sending out information, being dissatisfied with doing okay is being dissatisfied. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, yeah, we could have done better. Well, what do you mean? Well, I'm always trying to figure out how to make a booth better. I'm always trying to figure out how to put something somewhere else to where somebody will see it. Like, for instance, last weekend, I 3 things. I was like, I'm going to change this, and this about the booth. Even though I had a badass setup, I could have done better.
Yeah. So these are two really good ways. So you're in order to mitigate some of that risk to be calculated, one's knowing your numbers. And the more detail you can be in, the better. Obviously. Know your numbers and base your decisions off of that. The second thing is being honest with yourself, which I think is huge.
Yeah, you're right.
Because that is, we used to do this years ago in band practice when I was in my teens. I had one guy in the band, he's the lead singer, he's the leader of the band. Every time we were done at the show, sidebar, and he would look, you could be better on that, this, that, and the other, pulling all of it apart.
Yep.
And we were like, because we all felt really good about that performance.
Cognitively dissatisfied.
He wants it to be better every
Yeah.
time, every time. So I've learned to do some of that on my own. And I think it's really important though that message makes it out, because if you're not being honest with yourself, you have on the rose-colored glasses, and your optimism is outshining wisdom.
There you go.
Right?
Cognitively dissatisfied.
Dissatisfied, yeah.
That's it. That's the term.
So let's talk about risk. What does it look like to take a risk now? Considering those measures, what are your risks? What do you guys feel like is some risks that you take now? Is it design? Is it still events?
I mean, there's always some. I mean, events can be a risk. That's always can be a risk. To me, hiring a new person is a risk because you don't know what you're getting, for one. Number 2, I take it personal when someone expects us to pay their bills.
Sure.
So I want to be very careful. I never want to hire and lay off.
Yeah.
I only want to go one way. Now, if you don't work out, you don't work out. But that has nothing to do with our ability to pay your paycheck.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, risk would be buying
a new product,
expanding a warehouse,
Yep.
Buying a new printer press.
Yeah, you guys just did that too. You bought another.
Yeah.
You did one machine a year, right? Am I remember that correctly?
Yeah.
The thing is now we've been looking at expanding the warehouse. Okay, well, what does that look like?
Yeah.
How much more room do you need? Well, triple what we got, but
It's filling up
it
fast.
fills up fast. And here's the problem: is we could fill up another exact same one we have. We could fill it up right now.
That's
So
crazy.
we really need triple the space. You can't double because we would be full already.
Yeah.
So you really need to triple what we got. That'll give you a little bit of room for growth.
Right.
And that's what the thing is. That's what the goal is to get there. But that would be something to be risky to me, because you take on extra space, you have to pay extra money. With that, it comes extra. Okay, now we got to make extra money.
Yeah.
How do you go make that? So that would be a risk to me.
Yeah.
Purchase some new equipment, I guess, like vans or trucks or trailers. Okay, got to make sure they're rolling. If that trailer out back doesn't roll every weekend, it doesn't make money.
Sure.
If it's just sitting there, it doesn't do us any good. So we got to make sure all of our products, and I call those products because they're my product. That's how I make our money, is to go out there with that product. So if they're not moving, we're not making money.
No.
And if we're not making money, then what are we doing?
That's true. And that's fair. As we land this plane, I want to leave, Jeremy, I want to leave both of you to the last word, because this is kind of a co-interview, even though this is also your podcast. It's just a really cool thing to think about, that when 10 years you became full-time, or right around 10 or 11, right?
Yeah, it's 10. Right,
and then
10.
you're now full-time. So that's not normal. When people that are watching this podcast right now, I guarantee there is, I would say, probably 85% of people listening or watching are in that spot where they're thinking, when is this ever going to be my real job as an entrepreneur?
Yeah. I
So,
get that.
Yeah.
talk to that person who is getting real impatient, who's got a good idea, and maybe they're 5 years in. Give them some insight, both of you.
For me, I could have probably come sooner, full time.
Yes.
It was a comfort, thing for me. Like, if I'm being 100% honest, like, we had at the time probably 4 people working at the warehouse. Amy runs the show. Did I need to be here? No, I didn't need to be here. I could do everything I wanted to do from home.
Yeah.
Because I worked from home, which is extremely, like, I had a lot of freedom, is what I'm trying to say. Like, if I need to run over here for an hour, I could.
Yeah.
Right? So that's probably what made me wait longer to come here. And then, like, I paid myself, or I paid into an account for, I think it was like
6 months.
6 months, wasn't it? Yeah. Just to make sure it's going to work.
Yeah.
Even though I felt like it would be fine. But even since then, I mean, like, we've grown a lot.
Right.
And I have to also kind of know, again, we've been doing this so long, that we're going in a certain direction. And we're not total idiots. I mean, we're dumb, but we're not total idiots. When we see something going wrong, we're smart enough to go, hey, we should probably change something.
Right. Yeah.
And
And we're fast enough about it now, we can.
we're fast about it. Yeah, that we can. And, we both, our work ethic is to the fact that we're not going to sit around and do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make sure that if something needs to be done to make it better, we're going to do it.
What about you?
I would agree. Mine was surely, I think I probably could have done it a couple of years ago, but again, maybe I could have done it a long time ago. But my stick with coming was twofold. I made a lot of money in corporate America, so I didn't want to take that from us.
Sure.
Because we needed that to continue to grow. Number 2, I didn't think the foundation was here yet.
Sure.
I didn't think they could handle what I was going to do. And I say that in...
No, we couldn't have. I don't think at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
The industry is not ready for what we're going to do. We're going to go at this thing gangbusters, left, right, upside down. It doesn't matter. And we're going to make sure there's more stuff for them poor folks out there to do than they can
Sure,
get
yeah.
done in a day or 10 days or 100 days. And so then with that comes, okay, that makes it easier to go buy the new building or go get the new building or go get a new whatever, go hire more people. It makes it easier to do. So that's kind of where my head was at and why I didn't. And he and I've talked about it. I was praying about it. I was like, hey, man, give me the sign, God. I just need to know because I was really wanting to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm stupid because I don't listen real well to anybody, God included. So I'm like, hey, I need a sign, and like and literally, so the job I was at, they cut my
Commission.
commission like triple. Like I'd had to sell triple what I had to even get to make the same exact amount of money I made the year before.
Grief. That sucks.
So that was a sign. It hit me right. I mean, when it hit me right in the face. I'm like, hey, stupid. Okay. And then I went snow skiing. I got back and my boss was like, hey, we need to have a conversation. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna have this conversation. We're done.
Yeah.
We had it real fast, like, and it was like, okay.
Yeah.
I called Roy at 8:30 that morning. I said, hey, guess what? He said, what? I said, I'm full time. He's like, oh shit.
Let's go.
Hey, let's go.
Let's
I think
go.
I was here at 9. I think I pulled in at 9. We started working.
Yeah.
I mean,
Started making a plan.
started making the plan. Like, how do we do this? What's this going to look like?
Yeah.
What do you have to have? And I pared it down. I'm like, this is what I have to live. He's like, I think we can make that happen. He's like, I was hoping you weren't going to say the other number because I know what he knows.
Sure.
We've been together.
I knew what he
long.
needed. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, let's do this, man. Let's go. We got that. That's easy. I'm like, hell yeah. And again, the funny thing is he tells a story a long time ago in one of the original podcasts about somebody believing in him more than he believed in himself.
Mm-hmm.
This time it was opposite.
Right.
He's telling me, Jeremy, we got this. We got this. He was believing in. He's like, I know what you're going to bring to the table.
Yeah.
He believed in me more than I needed to be gone, but he believed in me more. So, that meant a lot to me to be able to show up here and him like, come on, I got you, son. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's make this happen. So, and
That's what we're doing right now.
Yep, we are.
I bounce off that too because there has been at least 4 times this year where I've gotten the same phone call from Roy.
yeah.
It's like, I know what you're going through. I know it sucks.
Yeah.
This is part of the process, but you're smart. You got this. I know
right.
you're capable. You'll come out on the other side of it. And I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Can you call me back in 12 hours and say it again?
That's right. And it means a lot to have your partner
Yeah, it
believe
does.
in you like that. I know it meant to him a long
Yeah.
time ago.
Yeah.
We've done it 2 or 3 times, and he says the same thing. He says it over and over and over. You just believe in me more than I believe in myself, And to have that backing, that they believe in you just as much as you believe in you, or they believe in you more, you'll always win. You'll never lose because we're not going to let each other lose.
That's
No.
100%
And
right.
that's what.
Won't
that's
let
what
you
it's about.
fail. Yep.
Yeah. That is, man, it's not where I thought we'd go at the end. But I'm so happy we're here.
Yeah, we went
because
to-
that is the secret. I think that's a little bit of that's the secret sauce, and
Yeah.
it's not always there. All the other things that you said make a lot of sense, right? They're foundational business things. They're
That's right.
some of them people don't know, which is fine. From experience, you've learned to be honest with yourselves. You got to be calculated in your risk taking. You got to grow slow, right? All those things that we know, but nothing replaces that business partner that believes in you more than you believe
right.
in yourself. And
Never-
for that, thank you
You're welcome.
a million times. Thank you. People don't know that, and you like to be behind the scenes a lot.
Yep.
And that's fine. We'll go out there and be the face if we have to, but
it.
we couldn't do that without someone in our corner, kicking our ass every once in a while and saying, no, you got this. I know you got it. Like, I know you do. And it's like, it's real hard to believe. It's real hard to swallow, but
Yep.
I think I speak for Jeremy when I say, we love you, big a-hole.
Oh, thank you. I love y'all. I like just pulling strings. Back here moving stuff around.
He's
This is
just like
fun.
a string puller.
Yeah.
Well, guys, on that note, that was great. I really enjoyed listening to your
it was fun.
story. Jeremy, I appreciate you hanging out.
Yes, sir.
We're all highly caffeinated and probably have to pee. So we're going to end the podcast here.
Yes.
So we appreciate you guys press and play on the Ground Up podcast. We hope that you found some benefit in it. And please share it with your friends. And we'd love to hear how this podcast is affecting you. We'd love to hear your questions. So don't be afraid to reach out in the comments below. We'll catch you guys in the next one.